Seems to be that there is going to be at least one rate cut this year.
Big news for crypto holders today. Smash the like button. Let me tell you what you need to know. First of all, the Federal Reserve, Jerome Powell, just had their FOMC meeting today. The takeaway is that interest rates are being held unchanged, 5.2% to 5.5%, now indicating only one rate cut happens this year.
The base case of the committee seems to be that there is going to be at least one rate cut this year, but your growth forecast doesn't see any slowdown in the rest of the year, nor does the unemployment forecast see any significant weakening of the labor market. And your inflation forecasts basically average out to no change. So if at the end of the year there is no change from conditions now, why would you anticipate cutting rates? What would be the point for a rate cut?
We think policy is restrictive. And we think ultimately that if you just set policy at a restrictive level, eventually you will see real weakening in the economy. So that's always been the thought, is that, you know, since we raised rates this far, we've always been pointing to cuts at a certain point, not to eliminate the possibility of hikes, but, you know, no one has that as their base case. So no one on the committee does. You know, that's how we think about it, and that's what we've been getting. That's what we've been getting is good progress on inflation, with growth at a good level, and with a strong labor market. Now, ultimately, we think rates will have to come down to continue to support that, but so far they haven't had to, and you know that's why we're watching so carefully for signs of weakness. We don't really see that. We kind of see what we wanted to see, which was gradual cooling in demand, gradual rebalancing in the labor market, while we're continuing to make progress on inflation. So I mean, we're getting good results here.
We're going to see at least one rate cut this year. We might see two. We might see three. Anthony Scaramucci basically explained this in our interview the other day.
I have been in the camp that we're going to get two and possibly still three rate cuts. I think the consensus now is one rate cut, but I actually think it's going to be more than. I believe that. Yes, I do believe that. I think they're going to come in the months of October, November, December. I think you're going to get the rate cuts. You get the rate cuts, you're going to get a tear in Bitcoin. You're going to get a tear in risk assets. Bitcoin's over 100,000 by the end of the year. That's my honest opinion.
And the thing is, something needs to be done. Jerome Powell has said before that the only way out is to take on more debt.
At the end of the day, there's only one solution to this problem, and that is Congress. Whatever else may happen will happen, but Congress really needs to raise the debt ceiling. That's the only way out. And if we fail to do so, I think that the consequences are hard to estimate, but they could be extraordinarily adverse, and could do longstanding harm.
So because this is such a problem, Bitcoin, given enough time, can only go up. Mike Alfred explains why Bitcoin can only go up in 75 seconds because of the debt, because of the deficit. Listen.
The U.S. is adding a couple $1 trillion to the national debt every year, which is effectively, you know, a high single-digit deficit. I don't think that deficit-style spending and adding to the debt's going to stop. And so effectively what they're doing is creating more money every single year, whether they call it that or not. And you can't create more Bitcoin faster, right? The money supply in Bitcoin is entirely dictated by the code and the algorithm. So you have this immovable force, which is this decentralized, immutable ledger backed by all of this hash power, right? That can't change, won't change. And then you have the fiat systems globally, which effectively have no incentive to introduce austerity. They have no incentive to reduce spending. The politicians are only going to be in office as long as they make their constituents happy. And so they're going to continue to take the easy path while Bitcoin takes the hard path. And you get the benefit of that as a holder because it's about relative scarcity. Right? It's not that there's not going to be any new Bitcoin. Of course, we know there's going to be about 450 new Bitcoin a day. It's that there's a lot more dollars, a lot more yen, a lot more rubles, a lot more euros, right? A lot more yuan being created than there are Bitcoin. And so effectively that means the fiat denominated value of Bitcoin goes up.
Things are really heating up for Bitcoin, particularly as current presidential candidate and former president Donald Trump is continuing to lean even harder into Bitcoin day after day. Donald Trump just met with Bitcoin Magazine CEO and US Bitcoin miners. His message: I support you, I support Bitcoin. This is him meeting with David Bailey, the CEO of Bitcoin Magazine. This is a tweet, or rather a post, or rather a truth on Truth Social that Donald Trump posted immediately after, saying, "We want all Bitcoin made in the US. It will help us with energy dominance." This is huge. Clearly, he's going to the right people to get his talking points. And I just hope that Joe Biden and Democrats will continue to feel the pressure. He needs to be pro-crypto if he wants to win. That's what I think. Because crypto isn't partisan. Crypto is for everyone. Case in point, one of the world's largest banks, the ICBC, says Bitcoin is like digital gold and Ethereum is like digital oil. This is notable for two different big reasons. Number one, this is one of the largest banks in the world, on par with JP Morgan Chase. And number two, this is a large bank in China. And with Chinese banks so tied to the nation of China like this coming around, you gotta think, are they opening back up to Bitcoin and Ethereum? Will we be seeing some Bitcoin and Ethereum ETFs soon, like we have in Hong Kong? Will they come to China, which is a lot bigger market? It's amazing when you dive into the report and actually see what they say about Bitcoin and Ethereum. Bitcoin retains the scarcity similar to gold through mathematical consensus, while solving its problem of being difficult to divide, difficult to identify authenticity, and inconvenient to carry. And then they called Ethereum digital oil. Ethereum has been continuously upgrading its technology in terms of security, scalability, and sustainability, providing technical power for the digital future. I mean, they say a lot more than this. Truly is amazing to see. The fact is, the best part of the cycle is still yet to come here on Pump's podcast. Matthew Siegel, VanEck's head of digital asset research and portfolio management, gives his price predictions on Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana. Listen.
What is your bullish case for Bitcoin, ETH, and Solana right now, out of the research?
Yeah. So out of the research, the official price target on Bitcoin is 325,000, which is half the market cap of gold. We're going to have some new research soon that incorporates the layer 2 opportunity and should send the price target higher. For ETH, new report dropped today, 22,000 per coin. We estimate that the network is going to produce $70 billion of free cash flow by 2030. 33 times that. And then Solana, our base case was $300. That base case is obsolete now because we used a lower market share number for Solana because of some of the technical debt. And they've made a lot of progress. So bull case on that, 3,000.
365, 22,000, and 3,000.
Now is the time to get into altcoins, in my opinion. Now that Bitcoin has broken all-time highs, now that the halving is behind us, historically, this is really when you see these massive gains in altcoins. You know, Bitcoin's going to what, 3x from here? Altcoin's going to 5, 10, 20x from here, depending on which coin. And this image really does sum up the current state of the market perfectly. Bitcoin's had a major run. Altcoins, not so much. If you're wondering why sentiment is so poor relative to the price of Bitcoin, here's your answer. And with Terra Luna, or more specifically Terraform Labs, agreeing to pay $4.47